handsome. Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, A Not So Quiet Place. My name is Pamela Mvuyana, and thank you so much for joining in once again. Anghamgeta, as you guys know, I'm with my wonderful co-host who is kind of sick at the moment, Spundo.
Hi, Pam. Hello, everyone. First of all, my voice for this episode will sound a little different due to a flu, hey? I've had. So. Nah, it ain't like that. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on the last few episodes. We hope you guys really enjoyed it, hey? So today we have a new topic on our hands, as usual. And today we're coming through with family dynamics, growing up in families, we tend to have different looks on the way things looks at home. Look at home, eh? The way things work at home.
At home.
Work at home,
Experience.
The experience, yeah. And it always differs even if we like siblings, bruh.
It does.
That is crazy.
It does. Like one sibling will experience your parents differently from another sibling, or experience life differently.
Yeah.
One sibling will be heavy on the, I was so poor. And then the other sibling will be
living the life.
I'm living the life. Everything is good. Everything is working out for me. I ask my parents for whatever. They give it to me.
I'll get it, yeah.
So with that and the family dynamics and everything that surrounds family dynamics and how much it actually influences the kind of person that you are, because that's all we're about. We're really trying to understand the people that we are and what makes the people that we are. How many people do you have in your immediate family? Are you like the firstborn, the middleborn, the lastborn? Or you're just that child, a hooked one.
So for me, I'm the firstborn, hey?
Wow.
And on my mom, I'm the first and the lastborn, hey?
Okay.
But the majority of my life, I've experienced it as a firstborn on my father's side. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the firstborn of just boys, a family of boys, eh?
Really?
Yeah, only just boys, straight up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And you?
I'm actually so happy that you said that on my mom and on my dad's side, because I was about to come in and explain a whole essay of this is the
Dynamics. Yeah.
With my dynamic, let me start with my mom because that's the easiest dynamic. With my mom, I am the last born. I have two older siblings, a brother and my sister with my mom's side. So I am the baby.
Good mixture, hey?
Yes, I am the baby. I'm the smartest one.
Yeah.
I'm the funniest one. I am everything.
Wow, nah. I think that's just being the last born now at this point, eh?
Well, with my dad's side, I'm also the last born, but I have 3 other siblings. One older sister passed away, and then 2 other sisters that I still do have. But it gets tricky here.
Yeah.
Between my mother and my father, who were married, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not Jon Snow.
Wow.
I am an only child.
Yeah.
So I'm technically a last born and an only child.
Yo.
But due to the fact that my parents passed away a long time ago and my uncle took me in as his baby. Yeah. Right. So in my head I have 2 families. I have the biological family and then I have the family that I grew up with. I'm also, in a way, the last born in the family that I grew up with. Yeah. I have an older sister, an older brother, 2 older brothers, and an other sister, and then it's me in the family that I grew up with, and with my mom, who's my stepmom, but I call her my mom. And so it's just, it's a big mixture. It's a big mixture, but this is a lot. I told you guys the essay, but having lived around and moved around a lot, I found myself playing the role of it's either the last born or the firstborn. So I was, as the older I grew, I was very heavy on the firstborn role. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. Very heavy. I only got to lastborn when I was a kid, moving around, living with
different families.
Yes. Yeah, I would be the firstborn, and I respect firstborn children.
Yes.
That's all I gotta say about that. And with me respecting those firstborn children, with you being a firstborn, what has the role taught you? And did you find it challenging or did you find it easy, especially now? Because you're the example. You're the example.
Hey, for me, well, first of all, I grew up with my grandma the majority of the time. So by the time I came to the city, I came to live with my dad. So it was so by the time I came to live with my dad, it was more like a man's house, you know. But then my grandma raised me to be able to like clean the house and cook and just be able to take care of myself. So when I came to live with my dad, it was like the same thing, you know. He wanted me to be able to take care of the house, you know, when he's not around. And he used to travel a lot for work, so he would fly to Pretoria and all that stuff, and then he would call just to check up on me, how things are going. So and that was like grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, bruh.
Literally the same story.
That was hectic for me because like you don't realize how much responsibility someone has put on you as a child. But you know, I feel like my dad trusted me enough at that age to say, I can leave him alone and he will be able to take care of himself. He needs to learn to be able to be independent as a child. So, you know, even if he's coming back from work, like as he is coming back from work, I would actually call him and ask him, what are we gonna cook today?
Oh, so you were the cooking. You were doing the cooking.
we were both doing the cooking because he can cook. Yeah.
Okay,
pretty good
this is
cooker.
interesting.
Yeah, so it was like a man's house, like you know, boy's house, but the dynamics were so different, and also it didn't give away that certain things are a man's job, certain things are a woman's job, you know.
Got it.
So I would take care of the house. Yes, but I would take care of the house, and I would also like take care of the yard, you know. Be able to switch between those roles for me. And when the brother after me.
The brother after me.
Yes,
that
one, yeah. So he came to live with us, you know, and every time he would come through over the weekends to live with us, and every time he come through, so I had to be a bigger brother to him, to be able to say to him, do the same things that I'm doing, you know, to say, okay, dad is not here, so we both have to handle the chores. We have to split the chores between the two of us, you know. And doing that with him, it was a bit challenging, you know, because he was like, no wait, I'm not doing this. What? You're not my dad, you're like the same age as me, so yeah.
And wait, I want to ask, there was no female whatsoever?
No,
it's just you and your dad?
It's just me and my dad.
And then when your brother came over at his home, his house, did he have like females there doing the chores?
Yes,
so that, I mean, it's difficult for him then. It's difficult for him to adjust
to this life, you know. And at that point, technically, he was the last born, you know.
And he's
so
privileged.
He was that privileged boy about everything. But then, you know, that's how it was for me. And I look back at it now, I'm actually grateful for that, because it has made me a bit more responsible with the way I handle myself. I don't really feel like I have to depend on anyone to take good care of myself, to take good care of the place that I'm living in, or to be able to actually live well with other people.
Run a household, live with people, and understand. Not just become a burden when you're at somebody's house.
Exactly.
Because all you do is just wake up and eat and then go to the bathroom and then...
You know, you still instill those things that you learn at home, even on your friend's house, on your friend's place. You're still able to do those things and be like, oh, okay, cool. You know? Yeah, for you?
That is actually so interesting. I would have never had thought that. That is actually so interesting. And for me, what has the role taught me? The role of being the last born and the firstborn. Actually, I think I experienced every single
part of that?
Part of this. The last born, the firstborn, and the middle born. I experienced it. And it's funny that you say that your father would always be away, because there's some stage where I was also living with my brothers and my sisters and my father, and it's just our father who looked after us, and he'd also be away on business, doing stuff, and we had to take care of the household at that time. And at that time I was the last born, but I've always had a sense of discipline and a sense of responsibility, even though I was the last born. I don't know how, I don't know where it came about. Apparently my dad and my biological parents were very disciplined people, very strict people, very,
right to the law.
Right to the law people. And I think as much as I've been a rebel without a cause, with no cause. As a kid, I was a rebel with no cause. Literally none missing. I always had that sense of responsibility. So that role, especially being a female, has taught me how to maintain the household, because I come from a very traditional family. So traditional in the sense of the woman wakes up, she cooks, she cleans, she makes the food, she takes care of the house, and the guys would go tend to the garden, all that kind of stuff. They'd wash the car. And I remember as a child, I'd be so angry. I'd be so furious when that would happen, because it was expected of me. And at that time, when I think my most developmental stages at that time, I was living with my two cousins and obviously our parents, guardians, parents, whatever you want to call it. And I was the only girl. And so with that, everything fell on me. I would have to wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they'd be up at like, 9 o'clock. I'm waking up at 7 o'clock, cleaning the house, doing this, doing that. And so that has really instilled a lot of discipline. To this day, you could lick the floor in my place. I can assure you guys, you can lick the floor. So that has instilled a lot of discipline. And the older I grow, the more I'm so appreciative of that, because this is so weird. Now that I'm older, I understand and I appreciate gender roles, and I really appreciate what they taught me, because it's been easy for me to go visit a friend's house or go visit a family members. Like, they'd always be like, "Oh no, you come. We want you.
You are always welcome.
You're always welcome. House. You wash the dishes. You do this. You do that. You welcome." If a family had gone for vacation somewhere, they'd be like, "I'd be the first person they call. Come take care of the house," because of that role. And as I keep saying, I think I felt more like a firstborn, less than a lastborn. I'd feel it here and there that, okay, I'm the baby, but I'd always had like firstborn responsibilities. Always.
So that was instilled in you in every way possible.
Every way possible, always. And I hated it as a kid, but now I'm just like,
you see it now. You see the fruits of what that did for you.
Unnecessary sometimes, but unnecessary. And with that, it's like, now that you're older, have you come to a place where you see your parents as actual human beings instead of just being parents?
Yeah, I think I do. Like, it's like when you're growing up with your parents, you always like, you are a rebel with no cause.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah, for no goddamn good reason at all. You just want to wild out.
Better, better. And not even in a crazy way. It's not like we were like crazy kids taking drugs and whatever.
It's just, you just hate rules, I would say. Yeah, so I think if you're still a child and then you hate rules, you tend to look at your parents as parents.
They're boring.
Yeah, they're boring. They don't know me.
Yes, they don't know me. That was my biggest thing. No. That was my biggest thing. These people don't know me.
They don't know my life. Nah. Yeah, so.
And but just guess.
Exactly. So, but you look at it now, at my 20s, and I'm like, I kind of understand what they were doing at that time. They were grooming me so that I can be able to go out into the world and be able to be a human amongst other humans, you know? Because like, we don't understand what the rules teach us as child. Is that our parents majority of the time, our parents are trying to teach us to be able to go out into the world and be able to live with other people and show humanity to other people, you know. So for me, I look at it now, I'm like, yo, I'm quite thankful for them being strict about it, because that taught me to be, you know, a stand-up person. You know, it taught me to be able to take care of myself, be able to be responsible in every way possible for my own belongings and for the space that I'm in, and be able to respect other people's spaces, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I would say I look at them now more as humans than how I look at them as monsters. Yeah. I truly appreciate them now.
And given the things that they had to go through, they lived through apartheid.
It was a different life for them. Very different.
And we take that so lightly. Can you imagine now with us saying, Joma, everything's Joma. Everything is toxic.
What toxic?
Imagine the things that they were carrying, the things that they were dealing with. And we need to remember, these people got married at 22.
Yeah.
Most of them got married at 22, 23, 24. By 30, they had whole families. They had households. They had bills. They wanted to take us to the best schools. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that. And at the same time, they're navigating this world that tells them that you're not enough. Whatever you do, you're not enough. You're never going to be enough. I mean, I remember being a child when we first moved to Warner Beach, that sometimes our neighbor would hate us so much that they had this lemon tree. They would literally throw lemons into our place. Or if we had like umsebenzi ekhaya, they would call the police all the time. All the time. And they just didn't like us. They didn't want us there. They didn't like us being there. And worse off, my dad wasn't my parents weren't the people they thought would be there, because I mean, I'm not being so.
So what I'm also getting from your conversation is that maybe we should also understand that the majority of our parents didn't actually deal with the trauma of what it was to grow up in that time. The emotional, that's the thing, but the emotional baggage that comes with growing up at that time, you know, you tend to like forget about yourself and focus on how you can make your life better for your child.
You can make it. All their concern was, that's exactly what you're saying. Their concern was getting food on the table, getting your child to school, getting your child clothes, having a house, and that was that. And so now that I'm older, I actually see them as human beings who actually had to face life and make real life decisions. And for me personally, so many people have sacrificed for me because they always believed in me per se. I don't know why, but they did.
They just did.
And people would sacrifice huge things for me, just for me, you know. Not even being my parents, not even being my biological parents, but they sacrificed that for me. And as a child, I didn't see that because I wasn't looking at them as humans. I was looking at them as these people who just want to tell me the rules.
Tell me what
to do. What to say. They don't even know me. And then I'd go to school and I'd have my white friends saying, "Yo, Tana, just eat your mom." What? And I'd come home with the Yotana situation at home, then not playing those
They're like,
games.
hey, we don't play like that. Get a bit down. Now.
Now. So now that I'm older, I look at them as people. Sometimes I hear the stories, the things that they went through, and I'm like, and you're still here? Like, the decisions they had to make. Like, these people sometimes were getting divorced. Like, you know, I'm just like, you're still here?
That takes heart.
You're losing your friends, you're losing your brothers. Like, I'd have like aunts or uncles who had lost all their sisters and they're the only ones left. But you're still here? And then we here come here as kids and we just like like,
it's so crazy.
I really just see them as human beings
more than anything.
And with that, this is a controversial one. When it comes to religion and spirituality. How has your family shaped your beliefs?
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, for me, I think the family dynamics when it came to that, they differ, you know. You look at my father's side, they were more into the ancestral part of it, you know, being able to be thankful for what you have by doing traditional rituals, you know. And for me, I really grew up on that because the majority of the time I was always surrounded by that
part.
Yeah. But then I would go to my mom's side. My mom's side, they were Christianity, you know? So they were more on the church side. Like every Sunday, you wake up and go to church with grandma and stuff like that, you know? So I think being able to see both sides as a child, and you growing up and you're still finding yourself, you're still finding your places to where do you belong in this world. And you also like trying to figure out, okay, which one do I feel like resonates with me? Yeah, which one do I feel like truly resonate with me? And for me, I would say the ancestral root. For me, yeah, and I have a reason for that, you know.
What's the reason?
Yeah, hey. For me, I would say the reason for the ancestral part, I would say I feel like it's the closest thing I've known to God. You know, it's the people that have actually lived and they have blood ties to me all the way. I can easily track them back and be like, these people are all tied to me.
That makes so much sense.
They are the reason I'm here. So clearly their spirits will be able to talk to God for me and be like, this is our child, you know? Yeah, so I think that's for me, the ancestral roots. I would say I relate to that more than going to church. Yeah,
completely get it.
And you?
And me, wow. Let me first say that I had the same situation as you. One side was very traditional, but within their tradition, they're also going to church.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Then the one side is very, I'm not going to say Christian. One side is leaning more to religion instead of spirituality, because there's a difference. You can be a Christian and then be religious. Well, I believe there's a difference. You can be a Christian and be religious. And if you're religious about your Christianity, it's about having a relationship with God and a communication with God. And I honestly believe that a spiritual Christian is somebody who's going to understand that not everybody is going to be for a religion. Not everybody is going to believe in what you believe in, but at the end of the day, you have love for people enough for you to be
accommodate
their beliefs, understand their beliefs, and know that it's their personal choice as much as this is your personal choice. But if you're religious, you look at other people's beliefs and you think that they're demonic, you think that they're evil, you think that they're satanic, they don't know what they're doing, they're lost, or whatever the case may be. Granted, I mean, there are some people who are clearly you know, on a very different path. But for me, growing up, it was so confusing because I grew up on this one side where it was very traditional, but within their tradition, they respected everybody. They accommodated everybody, they believed in a bit of both, and it was great. It was great, it was good. At that time, I didn't understand it much, but I was like, hey, this is what we do. And I really enjoyed that, because the one thing I really did enjoy was ukuba nomsebenzi, because for me, it felt like a family gathering. Okay, every single 2 months there's a family gathering, and because of that, the one side of my family is so close because of those family gatherings that we have all the time, and it's a huge family. It's a family gathering. Granted, at that time, I'd get so annoyed if you're going to have Msebenzi, because I know I need to be there. Friday, I'm washing pots, I'm chopping, I'm a teenager, like I'm out of high school, I don't need to do this. what am I doing? I'm serving people. It's the tray. It's the yebo bab. It's the yebo ma. It's a lot. Like, you're cooking huge pots and my gosh, it's a lot. You have to go to the river. Yay, your commands. The next thing God says, yay. It's a lot. But now that I'm older, I'm like, this was actually great. This is a great foundation. This is an amazing foundation. And then when you're sitting around, everybody's sitting around you, and we're saying your clan names and you're reciting them and gassing, and it's just like, okay, you feel some type of way. You feel, we're running in bed. Okay, I feel this, So that was amazing. And then they have the one side, which is also, I'm not going to neglect the other side, because it's really helped ground me and helped understand my spirituality, and just helped me. Now I'm at the stage where I'm more spiritual than religious. I got to a point where I was also religious, because I'm wanting so hard to please this side and want them to see me as an upstanding person. But then at the same time, in my head, I would have you can't tell me that my aunt is a Sangoma and now she's evil because she is. That woman loves me. I know her heart. We have heart-to-heart conversations. But you can't tell me that she's evil. I'd always have that conflict in my heart. But now that I'm older, I think I've found a balance between the two. I'm still working on finding a proper balance between the two. But I found a balance of incorporating both and using what works for me, and having a relationship with God more than anything, more than conforming to this and conforming to that. But I will say, okay, so with all of that being said, with our spirituality, our religion, and how family has affected that, would you say you have unlearned the toxic traits that you picked up from your parents, from your family, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your mom, your dad? Have you unlearned that?
First of all, I wouldn't use the word toxic, because I think our generation tends to use this word very much loosely. I would say it's things that now that I've grown up, I don't agree with. I wouldn't say they're toxic. I would say, because as you said, about being able to adjust to other people's beliefs and their values, and being able to say, I understand their values, but those are not mine, and being able to do that in a respectful way.
Oh my gosh, that is so important. I understand their values, but those are not mine.
Right.
That's a cool.
So I would say I've come to that place where I can understand certain things and how they think about those ideas and those beliefs and that, and be able to say, okay, I understand. Maybe take, for example, if I go home, I would have to conform to certain rules So I look at it like that. So if I'm in their house, I have to conform to certain rules. I have to conform to certain things, and be able to be respectful of their rules when I'm there. But when I'm on my own, also, I have my own ways of doing things. I look at life differently compared to how they look at life, and their values did add to that. They did add to how I look at life. They changed the way that I look at life. They changed my whole perspective, I might have seen something which I would consider a bad trait on them.
Like what?
No, let's just say that. like something I would consider a bad trait, but then I'm like, okay, I saw that from them. But I wouldn't like that to be part of what makes me myself, I would look at it from a perspective, okay, they raised me this way, but what can I do to change that perspective that they gave me? Because it was theirs, not mine.
It's not mine.
So how can I change that perspective and make it fit more towards who I am as a person?
I got it.
I would say I have unlearned certain things, certain values and beliefs that they have, and I've changed them towards what I feel is more fitting for me as a person right now. Yeah. And you
that's actually
toxic.
That's toxic. Need toxic.
Need toxic. Yeah.
I'll actually say the word toxic, as you said, has been used way too loosely. Way too loosely. Some things just have to be the way that they are for society to function, and that is just that. You need rules whether you like them or not. That is just that. Bear in mind, when you're a child, you don't understand that because you think the world is your oyster. Unfortunately, my darling, the world is not your oyster. Unfortunately, it is not. Have I unlearned the toxic traits that I think I picked up from my family? This is actually crazy. I don't think I've picked up any.
Oh, snap.
I think that now that I'm older, everything that I thought was toxic was just life form from their perspective, their experience, their perspectives, things that they have been through that maybe I'm still going to go through and change my mind about it. Because as a child, I didn't understand why my parents, guardians, whoever I was with at that point in time, didn't want me to have male friends. Now as I'm older, I'm like, there is no such a thing as a male friend. So my parents were not wrong. They were not wrong for actually saying that, because now that I'm older and I understand things more, okay, there is, but there isn't, guys. But in most cases,
it's not. It's
not.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. As a child, I would say, oh, they're being toxic. They're just being so straight and narrow, whatever the case may be. So there are not a lot of things I could say that they were toxic that I inherited from them. Granted, I'd always been with people who are very disciplined, didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do nothing. So I can't even say that I have a drinking problem because I saw it at home. I didn't see nothing. I can't even say I have a smoking problem. I didn't see anything. All I saw was discipline all the way around. Discipline.
That's good.
All the way around. So I can't even pinpoint anything that's major that I could have felt was toxic. I was even laughing at a story. It's actually a story that I remember back in the day. I had this one uncle who hated pants. My dad's family does not like pants. They're just that family. Now that I'm older, I understand. And I understand why they did that, why they say that. And like now when I'm wearing a dress, I get compliments, child. Like I know when I go out and I'm wearing pants and I'm wearing dress, different attention, different compliments, different people looking at me, and I'm like, oh, they are onto something. So crazy. It's crazy when you get older how your perspective shifts on everything. And with that, now that you're older, you might have your own children if you want to. What would you have done differently had you been your parent? What would you do, or you had done differently?
You know, this is such a tricky question, because I feel like if my parents had done something differently in raising me, it would have changed the whole thing as to who I am as a person right now, you know. We all wish that the rules went so hard. Yeah, that's what I would say. I wish the rules went so hard, but do you? I don't think I do. Hey, I don't think I do. For me, it's a thing. I feel like if one thing had changed in the way, let's say, for example, I didn't grow up on my father's side. I grew up on my mom's side. I feel like I would have grown up a bit more of a spoiled child than actually a child who can take care of himself. So I think growing up on my father's side was honestly the best thing I could have had as a child, you know. I was loved, But I wasn't too loved to a point where it destroys me. Yeah.
Know your place.
And they were able to like set the rules and be able to stick to them. Like say for example, heading a kettle, you know. Guys.
Yeah,
yes. So like at a certain time it's time to go there. So you are able to like, okay, I'm gonna play. Now it's time to actually do this responsibility.
So
hell yeah, you walk up before going to school, bruh, and it was the coldest winter you've ever experienced, and you have to wake up and go at DP before you actually wash up and go to school, bruh. That was the most hectic thing ever as a child. But like,
and don't you feel like I'm being abused?
Yeah, you feel like that. You feel like you're being abused. But like, I look at all those things and I'm like, they really made me who I am as a person. So maybe changing even one of those things would actually give me a different way. It would give me a whole different trajectory in terms of where I would grow up to be, the person I would grow up to be. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I don't think I would change. I think I would love to change them, but nah, bro. Realistically, I'm in a good place. I love myself where I am.
Amen to that.
And you?
Amen to that. It's crazy because I have the exact same answer.
Yeah.
I have the exact same answer. I think maybe I would have wanted a bit more communication.
Yes.
Maybe a bit more, but at the same time, I'm like, did I really?
Hey?
Did I really? Maybe just more communication, just a bit more communication, a bit more transparency on certain things.
Yes.
Transparency. I'm a baby.
It creates a better relationship with a child as they grow up. I feel like once you get to your 20s, you are able to have like a very good relationship with your parents if you grow up around them and they were very open to having conversations with you.
Just a bit more transparency, because I'm a kid, I'm a teenager. I don't know that maybe this month things aren't looking that good, and I will ask for something that's above and beyond. And now next thing is my parent is stressed because I asked for something that's above and beyond. Had I known, had we actually talked, had we actually had those conversations, sat down, and there's been transparency, I would have maybe done things differently. But at the same time, I understand their headspace that I don't want to stress the children out. I don't want to stress the children out. I want them to think everything is normal. Because I remember living with my one aunt and my one uncle. I'll tell you to this day, those people have been married for years. I lived with them for years. Never seen them fighting. Never seen them even angry at one another. And I remember with my one cousin who always used to think, hey, what do these people even argue? Like, what what is this? And we'd hear from other people that they actually do argue, but never in front of us. Never seen it, never hear it, never know it. And that's why we both of us, we just calm and mellow people, like, because of that. Because that was the environment. But I digress. Had there been more transparency, more communication, it would have been so much better and would have answered so many questions that I had within myself and given me ease on things that I've had within myself. Just more communication. And transparency. So that's what I would have done differently, and probably what I'm going to do differently with my children. But
it's those things.
Crazy as it sounds, I'm going to be just as disciplined, maybe not strict, but disciplined with my children. That's the hill I'm willing to die on. The discipline hill, I'm dying on that hill.
Wow. Yeah. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening in to the conversation. And we honestly, I would really love to hear about you guys growing up.
Same here.
I would love to hear about your dynamics and what you think you might change if you were to get your own family, to have your own kids now, because I feel like we're getting to that stage where we're starting to plan out and have our own families. So yeah,
some of us already have.
So yeah, guys, give us a shout and let us know what you think of this topic, and let's hear your 2 cents, please. Let's hear your 2 cents about this.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and our Facebook at A Not So Quiet Place, and we are also on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ding, ding, ding.
The video's coming soon, guys.
The video's coming soon.
We're still working on that.
We're working on it. I was telling a friend the other day that this is actually way more work than we thought it would be. Way more work. But we truly enjoy it. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Not So Quiet Place. We hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And we hope that these conversations help you to introspect, to learn, to grow, and to become better people, because that is the aim. My name is Pamela Viana.
I'm Sfunda Mugati.
And we're out.
Cheers, guys.